What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddy Live Show, episode number 157. I am here with Camille.
Hi.
I forgot to ask you how to pronounce the last name.
Cournoyer. Yeah. It's a bit difficult.
Can you say it for me? Yeah.
Cournoyer.
One more time.
Cournoyer.
Oh, I can't even say that. That's a tough.
It takes a bit of practice.
That's a tough. Okay. So, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thanks
appreciate
for
having
inviting
you.
me.
Yeah, it's you're very new to Taiwan. Well, newish, right?
Yeah, 7 months.
First year, 7 months.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So, how's the first 6 months been in Taiwan?
Great. It's been really great, to be honest, especially coming after all the pandemics, just being here and be able to make friends again, see friends again, and just to go back to what feels more like a sense of normalcy, to be honest.
Yes, of
Felt
course.
really great, but just in general, also I felt very welcomed when I got here in Taiwan, and it just keeps on getting better and better.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I have to ask you before we start, what brought you here to Taiwan? Because when people want to learn Chinese, there's different options. There's Taiwan and there's China. There's other places, right? But why did you choose Taiwan?
To be honest, Taiwan was in my mind since high school, approximately. Because at that moment, I was trying to look for information on places where you could travel as a female traveler that would be interesting, safe, not too expensive also. And Taiwan was always pretty much really high in the list. Yeah. And I was just very curious to learn more about how Taiwan seemed to manage to keep its culture very much alive, but at the same time being so developed. As a country, as an environment, and then the language is just being able to ask all the questions that I want, and then connect with amazing people.
That's really cool, because I think Taiwan is kind of like almost like a hidden gem, right? People, I mean, 20 years ago especially, but right now when I tell people about Taiwan, it's always like, Thailand or Japan.
Yes, I got the Thailand one.
Yeah, did you get Thailand? Yeah. Still
like,
now. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Well, to be honest,
That's
only
funny.
once. So I think people are a lot more aware of what is Taiwan now. But I did get you're going to Thailand. And no, Taiwan, not Thailand.
It's crazy, because I've been here for a long time, and for the first years, my dad thought I was in Japan.
Oh, really?
My mom thought I was in. I think my mom thought I was in Thailand, or my mom thought Japan. And it was one or the other. It was like, what? My mom called me and she said, I heard about the tsunami. I'm like, what tsunami? What are you talking about? And she says, the big tsunami. I just heard about it. Are you okay? And I said, first of all, that was a month ago. Second of all, that was Japan. It's a completely different place. Yeah. So, but now, I think what Taiwan do so well with the pandemic and stuff, I think it's been good. It's been really cool.
Yeah. I think people are a lot more aware of what is happening right now and are just a little bit more curious in general too.
It's good. Yeah, I agree. I think so too. I'm curious about how you do with spicy food.
Not good.
Not good. Okay, so it should be interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
I'm a bit nervous about this.
Okay, that's okay. No, it's just, so when I decided to do a podcast, at the very beginning, we used to have a little office, and we did it at the back of the office. Right. And it was okay, but it was really quiet, and it was, I don't know, it was kind of a weird vibe. Right. But I figured if we could do it in the restaurant, we can have food, we can do a lot of stuff. It'll be great. So I figure
the atmosphere is great.
We should have food.
Yes.
You gotta have food.
And we're in Taiwan. Like, what would Taiwan be without food?
Exactly. And you are vegetarian.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So we're doing the cauliflower wings. So you have to let me know what you think. They're actually pretty good sellers. The cauliflower. We kind of developed those because our chicken wings were doing really well. Right. And we have a lot of vegetarian and vegan customers. So actually these ones are vegan friendly. Yeah. Aside from the buffalo one that has butter in the sauce. Yeah. But we're good. All right, so let's try the first one.
Awesome.
Actually.
Thank you.
Fork and knife. Okay, take that.
It's good. I can do it.
So you can use your hand, or you can just stab it and go for it, yeah?
Awesome.
And then we'll get started, yeah? So we're going to start from this side here.
Okay.
And this is just like a buffalo, basic buffalo, like a buffalo wing. So, yeah, and then we get to talk about Canada and Quebec. And it's nice because I haven't been home for a long time.
Yeah,
so it's good.
I'm really interested.
So grab one or the other. Grab the big one. Go for it.
But I'm really interested to know also your side of the
Sure.
of the story.
Whatever. Any questions you got for me, just let me know. Yeah. Right, beautiful. So,
Let's try this.
I'll just...
Oh, this is so good.
Thank you. So yeah, these became so popular that they're like on par with the chicken, if not like passing the chicken wing sale. It's kind of crazy.
What I like about your place, to be honest, is the second time now that I've been here. And as I mentioned last time, what I find really cool about your restaurant is that you have vegetarian options, but they don't feel like default options.
Yeah,
in the sense that they are
salad,
really
no meat.
tasty.
Thank you.
Like Taiwan in general, I would say is
pretty good.
quite convenient,
pretty good,
to be honest. But this is good.
Thank you. No, I think because sometimes we go somewhere and if we don't want to eat meat, we're like, oh, what's the veg? Like we eat meat, but sometimes you don't want to. You're like, okay, we'll get some vegetarian options, and it's basically like the same exact dish with no meat.
Right.
I'm like, okay, and it's the same price. I'm like, that's kind of funky. Yeah. Cool. So this one was all right. Yeah.
And yeah.
So I want to ask you. So we start with what started you on your learning Mandarin Chinese journey,
Okay.
all the way from Quebec, right?
All the way from Quebec.
All the way from Quebec, Canada, Quebec.
Yeah.
Right.
Quebec.
Quebec. Yeah. So tell me, what started you on the Chinese journey?
Since I was a kid, I knew that I wanted to learn Chinese, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it just felt so different from what I was used to that I wanted to be able to speak, to be able to understand better what was going on the other side of the world. And so I kept this interest all throughout, like also my teenage years. And then I knew that it would take me a long time to learn it. So I wanted to be done with my studies before I actually started learning it. But when the pandemic hit, I had just finished my bachelor's degree, and I was starting my master's like in September after that.
Okay, in Quebec.
In Quebec.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, in the meantime, I could start just to learn Mandarin and see if I like
Really?
it. Yeah, so I started to learn on my own. Then I absolutely loved it.
Really?
Fell in love with the language. So then as I was doing my master's, I was also taking Chinese classes, like online Chinese classes with a teacher at Shida.
Okay. Wow.
So I did
that's
that.
Cool.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I was so excited. So I did that for approximately 8 months, and then I applied for the Huayu Enrichment Scholarship, which is a scholarship that is given by the Ministry of Education here in Taiwan to students around the world who are interested in learning Mandarin. So I applied for that, got it, finished my master's, and then came here.
So you finished it and then came. Okay.
Well, to be like exact,
Okay, no,
I finished
to
it
share
like
it all, yeah.
in Taiwan,
really?
pretty much. Yeah,
Okay.
I finished like my thesis in quarantine, did my oral defense
wow.
online during my first week out of quarantine.
That's a pretty good use of time for the quarantine.
It
right?
was, yes.
I haven't done any traveling through COVID, but I actually did get COVID
Right.
this year in May or something, and it's like 7 days in the room.
Yeah.
It was weird, but it was kind of like, I mean, I didn't really have any side effects. It was just kind of chilling. It wasn't
okay.
bad. It wasn't,
Good.
obviously it's not great, COVID, but it was kind of like a week where I was not really doing anything.
Yeah, it feels weird, doesn't it?
It's
To like
very
be
weird
stuck
to be
in a
like
room.
in a room.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were in our apartment, my family, my wife, my daughter, and me. They never had it, so I stayed like in the master bedroom,
Right.
like its own bathroom,
Right.
and I didn't leave for more than 7 days because how it works here is we did the rapid test. One of the staff's roommates had it,
Yeah.
so they did a rapid test. They got it, and they were like, okay, we test everybody.
Yeah.
Half the staff got it. I got it. My wife and daughter didn't get it. So as soon as I got it, I said, okay, so I'm into the room.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, you got to go do the PCR.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I go do PCR. So I go do it. I go there, and then they're like, okay, you have to register. I said, okay, well, let me register. They said, okay, perfect. Come back tomorrow
Yeah.
to do the test. And I'm like, but I'm here now. Why don't we just
I know it's
do it now?
coming.
They're like, no, you got to come tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I said, so you want me to come back outside to take the test, and I know I'm positive.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. So I said, okay. I went back the next day, got the test. Okay, cool. They're like, we'll let you know tomorrow. So like, meanwhile, I'm in the room, and then like the third day, they're like, okay, positive, 7 days right now. And
Yeah.
I've already been like almost 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
I got it too recently, and it's a little bit similar, but also because I was not on the national health insurance here.
Okay.
So I also had like to go to the hospital, but then I got it. I did my test, and it was positive at night. So then I called the hotline. They were like, "Oh, maybe go tomorrow because maybe they're not gonna do testing that late at night because it was like 11:30 at night, something like that."
Okay.
So then I went. And then my official quarantine also started like 2 days later. So I did like 9 days also in my room. But to be fair, like it was fine. It was completely fine. It was still very efficient, to be honest.
Do you like live alone, like in a dorm or something?
I have 5 roommates, so we had to be quite careful.
Okay. I remember the college days where everybody piles in the room, right? I remember that long time ago. Yeah. Good. So you came, you finished your master's.
Yes.
Here, and then you went full on to Chinese. So here, you're doing like fully Chinese studies?
Full-time, only like Chinese.
Full-time.
Yeah, exactly. Not doing anything else. I really want to take this time. Because I was like, oh, maybe I could try to like find some online work. Because I'm not allowed to do like work in Taiwan. But online work from like something from Canada would probably be possible.
Okay.
But I decided I really just want to enjoy. And like take the time to do what I have been dreaming on doing for so many years.
I think that's smart because... you're gonna eventually you'll be working for the rest of your life. So kind of like if you can keep learning, it's good because after you work, then you go back to learn. You have way less time, and then it's
more responsibilities too. Like maybe you have a family, maybe you have a home. Yeah, I don't have anything.
That's great. That's great. So for me, I've been here for a long time, so I can speak, but like I never really studied. So the reading and writing is. It's almost zero.
It's difficult if you don't practice, especially the writing.
Yeah.
I can still read characters, but then I forget how to write them. And I was like, I learned these last week.
And if you write the stroke in the wrong order, they're like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah. But to be fair, I feel like writing in the stroke in the right order makes them so much easier to remember. Because you're used to like a very specific pattern.
Okay.
So then the patterns, when they come over and over again, I think it becomes a bit easier.
For me, I don't even remember. So, I mean, I can do like some basic reading. Just for being here, like food and stuff like that, of course. But aside from that, it's like,
well, it's okay. You need to you can also be selective with what you learn so that it really fits into your lifestyle and be able to integrate here.
Agree. Yeah. So you got that going now. So what's the plan? You want to do that for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? What's the ultimate goal for learning Chinese?
That's a big question right now.
Yeah, I'm curious. That's why we're here.
To be honest, I don't have a specific answer in the sense that you could interview me again next week and maybe I would have a different answer. Okay. But the goal right now is to do really 1 full year in Taiwan. So to be here at least until March, April, let's say next year. And then right now I'm in the process of applying for a job with immigration in Canada, so the IRCC. There's, of course, no guarantee that I'm going to get interviewed and I'm going to get it, but it's a job that I feel like I could be somewhat qualified for and that I'm a bit hopeful for. So I'm currently applying for that. And I'm going to apply for also like internship, things like that, just to have an idea of exactly what is going to be next.
So the plan is maybe 1 year.
Yeah.
Learn as much Chinese as you can and then go back.
Exactly.
Okay.
And basically go back to leave again in a sense, because I would like to do something that is related to Asia, and ideally I would like to be stationed in Asia for a few years, so either with immigration or something else. But what is that something that is still to be determined?
Well, you're still young, so it's not like everyone needs the answers when they're like 20, right?
Like I have just so many options, so it's all gonna be about seeing in the next few months what doors open.
Sure.
So I'm just gonna knock, and then we're gonna see.
Knock on everybody, all the doors, and then see what happens.
Because I'm considering like so many things. This, maybe going back to studying, another master's, and we'll see.
Is there a big demand? I haven't lived in Canada for 20 years. Is there a big demand for Mandarin speaking, Canada, and what about Quebec?
For Canada, I feel like there is an increasing need for Mandarin speakers, and probably also in Quebec. Maybe not as much as, for example, maybe British Columbia, Vancouver, when most of the for example, for Taiwanese immigration, 80% of Taiwanese immigrants are in Vancouver, and like 4% are in Quebec. So we don't have that many Taiwanese immigrants, but maybe in the next few years, or with just like globalization and the trend of moving more, there's going to be more of a demand.
I've never been to Quebec. I always hear it's like the nicest. Montreal is the nicest, city in Canada. Nice. I hear it all the time.
Nice.
But,
it's a nice.
It's always like Victoria or Quebec or Quebec City or Montreal. Yeah. But so. Obviously, everybody's speaking French, right? Yeah.
Pretty much.
Is there a lot of outside influence, like creeping into Quebec, or is it like French first?
it's the big debate in Quebec right now, especially in the last like few years. You're like hitting the last few weeks, I would say. Like you're hitting it right on the spot because we had some statistics that came out that show that French is in decline everywhere in Canada, including in Quebec.
That's sad because anyways, go ahead. Yeah. BC, I mean, it's so far from Quebec.
It is.
It's like almost no French there.
Yeah.
But Quebec is Quebec, so keep going,
So the thing, because a lot more people will start to use more of like other languages rather than French to communicate. An easy way out is also to mention that because we have more and more immigrants, then we have a more diverse. We have just more diversity in terms of languages that are spoken at home in Quebec, everywhere, exactly.
Okay.
But at the same time, I just think that we need to be really careful to not just put all the blame, because that's what's happening sometimes. That we can see in like Quebec media is like all the blame is put on other people for like why we're not speaking French anymore. Well, not that we're not speaking French anymore. Sorry, I mean why French might be a little bit in decline. But I think we need to like step away a little bit from this narrative because I think it can create even more division that we already see happening right now.
That whole let's blame those guys. We don't speak French because
exactly.
I can see that.
Exactly. And the thing is that we cannot, especially like being here, like I've been here for 6 months. And in Quebec right now, there is a guideline that would like immigrants to speak French after 6 months.
Ooh, wow,
it's impossible.
And French is not so easy as well.
It's a difficult language. And when you get to a new place, maybe you have a family, you have all the administrative stuff to do. I'm personally only focusing on language right now. And after 6 months, I'm definitely not fluent in Mandarin. So I think we have very high expectations towards people who arrive in Quebec, which is, I think it's valid to provide resources for them to learn French, but we need to provide enough resources, and enough resources also in the long term. We cannot just hope that people all speak French after only a few months.
It's tough.
It's
I mean,
very
learning
difficult.
a new language is tough. I mean, from somebody who maybe speaks only English to learn a second language like French.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
when
tough.
you have everything going on, like you're in a new environment. Everyone around you maybe speaks a language that you don't necessarily
speak. You're trying to figure out your life.
Yeah.
You know, you just immigrated. You're trying to figure out, the subway to work or whatever. And
exactly,
it's like learn it in 6 months. Yeah.
And what I think also we need to do is to promote French, because the narrative right now is a lot about we need to protect French, the French language. But the thing with this way of seeing things, I think, is that it creates this division of you have the thing that needs to be protected, and then you have like potential things that can endanger it.
Okay.
But I think instead what we should do is to make sure that people want to learn it and not to like make it and feel like an obligation. It's like through arts and culture and music to allow people to enjoy the language and not only use the language, like live through it. Much.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's the best way to learn a language. Like you coming here, that's the best way because you will learn the culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I also think it's hard to pick a side, but I definitely think that it's good to learn French. I mean, when I was in high school, they were saying, you need to have a second language, and French is mandatory for like 1 year.
Oh,
which is like one class a week or something, which is ridiculous, right? So nobody speaks French in BC. And then when you get to grade 9, if you pass grade 8 French, you can actually ask to just drop it. You're like, okay, can I just drop it? And so I remember really, really vividly. I went into the counselor's office and I said, can I drop French? And I'm like, how old is grade 8? Like 13 or something? I mean, I was just lazy.
I'm not sure because like
grade
13.
8. Like 12, 13. Because I was just being lazy, right? And I said, can I change it? And they said, well, in the new, society, you should have 2 languages. And I said, well, I speak Spanish already with my family.
That's true.
Then they said, okay. What do you want to change to? And I said, can I have a second PE class? And they're like, okay. Anything else?
PE is nice, I have to admit.
It's
like,
fun.
PE is
it's fun. But and I was like, what else? They're just like, no, that's it, done. Like, that's it. It was so easy. I'm like, okay, cool. So obviously now it would be nice to have French, right? To have as many languages as possible is great, right? So for me, I actually have my daughter speaks English and Chinese. I started Spanish with her, but 3 was really tough to kind of cram in there. So hopefully she's interested in it after. Yeah. Let's keep going on the wings. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Looking forward
this
to it.
is chipotle.
Okay.
It's like a little bit of smoky, a little bit spicy, a little bit sweet, some honey.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Okay, cool.
boom. So I'll just take the ones on my side. Yeah. So no problem on the first one, I think, right?
It was fine. It was
Spice-wise?
fine.
Okay. I have to ask. No problem. No problem. Good. It's the first time I've used it with a fork because my wife is probably watching saying, don't use your hands. Yeah. So, all right. I'm using the fork. It feels awkward, but that's all good. So I'm going to pull up a picture here, and you can tell me what's going on. Yeah? So let's
Perfect.
start with the very first picture that we've got here. Boom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
Yes.
You tell me about it.
So, this is my first job. I was, sorry.
Spicy? No.
No.
Okay.
A little bit, it's fine. So I was a counselor for the Multiple Sclerosis Society of Canada. Started at 16. I was involved with the organization since I was maybe like 7, approximately
wow,
7 years
okay,
old.
okay.
No, 9 years old. Because my dad has multiple sclerosis. So we
okay.
participated to their activities like once every year. They would organize this congress with like conferences, and they also have this youth section.
Okay.
So I was a counselor for that specific
That's
section.
pretty cool, yeah.
And the people that you see on the picture are my fellow counselors. I love them. They're my second family. I grew up with them.
Okay.
Pretty much since I was there, and it's really a job that made me feel like I had a greater purpose in a sense.
Okay.
Because after being a kid and participating to these events where you would learn about the disease, connect with other people who live the same situation as you really developed like this big connection.
Gotcha.
And then when I was 16 and I was finally able to be a counselor and then give back what was given to me when I was younger, I felt really grateful for that opportunity and for the connections that I would make with these amazing people and also with the kids in general. And I was seeing the good that our job was making in a sense for them, because they felt more understood. And they would come back every year, and it would be just so nice to see them. And then we actually lost our job during COVID because of the
Oh, this was that recent. Okay.
This was maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
Approximately, it was in 2019, 2020, approximately that picture. And so when 2020. Yeah, 2020 is COVID, so probably 2019.
Very cool. Wow.
So we lost it because of COVID. So because of the lack of funding, basically the youth department was taken away.
So the M, I was looking at the M, so that's the multiple sclerosis M.
Yes, exactly.
I thought it was M&M's.
Oh wait, actually it was
I was
M&M's.
like M&M's. I was like,
it was M&M's.
Because it looks like the logo for M&M.
But you're right, it is.
It looks like.
It is.
Sponsor or something?
No.
No? Oh, that's so funny.
It was our Halloween costume.
That's
so
right,
I was
they look like
I was the
M&Ms.
purple M&M,
Oh,
and
that's so
these
good.
and they were
Very cool. M&M's.
Yeah. So just beautiful memories, and now I'm trying to find a future job that we're talking about the future like a little bit later.
Sounds good.
A little bit earlier, and I was stuck, and I'm trying to find a job where I will have that same feeling of achievement and purpose.
It's nice to. It's tough. It's kind of crazy when you get to the point where you're finishing school, and you're planning things out.
You want to do great things, but you don't know
things,
how exactly. Yeah.
No, it's not you don't know, but it's kind of like you have to find like that door, like you were talking about knocking on doors. You got to find that opportunity.
Exactly.
Sometimes you can quickly, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a comment from Amy Ingol99 that's saying, "What's up, Amy? How you doing?" She's saying that work must be so rewarding. Yes, for sure. I bet. We got a couple hellos on there.
It was
Beautiful.
It's amazing. Like your job is to have fun and to help people better understand what's going on in their life and their family. Like it was extremely rewarding.
Awesome. Very cool. So one more picture here. Tell me about this picture. Right here. Yeah.
Okay, I call it my Hollywood
story.
Right.
Right.
Because it's all about luck, pretty much. So I did a semester in Spain, and I was studying Spanish during that semester. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not going to bring my guitar. I'm not going to miss it that much. I'm going to be fine.
Okay.
But then like 3 weeks later, I bought a guitar. And I met this man on the street, and he was with another younger artist. And he was like, hey, do you play guitar? Would you like to play a song for me? So I did. And it was like, oh, I have this gig next week. Would you like to come do a few songs? It's like, oh, yes, sure, of course. So that's when that picture was taken. It was the first time that I was playing music with people in Spain, so it was a very memorable experience to just being like taken away by the music. And there was the owner of a newly opened restaurant that was like in the audience, and he came to me afterward and he was like, oh, I have this restaurant. Would you like to come and play every week?
So cool.
So I gained a lot of musical experience by being there, and it allowed me to make all these connections with people who also loved music.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. One of the reasons that I have a lot of the equipment here for the podcast is because we like to do live music here as well.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, so I would love to. Yeah, maybe you can come by and you can play some music.
Come by, or just even listen,
audio?
like anything. Yeah,
That sounds good because I think
Amazing.
I love listening to live music. I like going to places where there is live music.
Right.
And a really good friend of mine is like a super, I don't know, audiophile kind of a guy.
Right.
So when we set the place up, he was telling me, I'll set up the audio, and he set up this amazing system. And when I started the podcast, I started with like a USB mic because I had no idea, like a Blue Yeti, right?
Right.
And he's just
That's pretty good, isn't it, to start
He's
with?
like, I'm like, yeah, it's good. I'm like, this is good, right? And he's just like, let me come in and let me come and fix it for you. And he's like, well, you've got all the gear. And I said, yeah, but I don't know how to take that gear and put it into like the computer.
Right.
And he just brings this cable. He's like, boom, boom, done.
Wow.
Like, oh man, it's crazy.
When you know how to do stuff.
When you know how to do
everything
stuff.
seems
Okay.
easier.
So let's put one more picture here, and then
Okay,
we'll go back
great.
to the questions. Yeah. Bam.
Oh, okay. So that was at the end of my semester abroad in Spain. I have a friend.
I'm gonna do a quick mic.
Of course,
switch.
of course.
It's all good. No, we're good. No, keep going. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. There you go. Is that okay? So yeah, that was at the end of my semester in Spain. I wanted to explore a little bit more northern Spain because I was in southern Spain. I was in Alicante. And I like hiking a lot. So with my friend, we decided to basically cross Spain on foot via El Camino del Norte, which is part of El Camino de Santiago. So we walked from the French and Spanish border all the way to the sea, pretty much. So it was a 1,000 walk approximately. But beyond like the physical challenge aspect of it, it was an experience that really gave me hope in humanity, to be honest, in the sense that when you study international relations, sometimes you see like everything that's going wrong in the world,
Of course,
and you can get a
of
little bit
course.
discouraged. But when you do that type of experience, everything that is stressful is taken away because all you have to focus on is walking and making connections with
Of course,
people.
yeah.
So we met people with beautiful stories, and it was a great way to just really take the time to have conversations without being disturbed by anything else.
I think you were saying how much time did you spend in Spain?
Total, approximately 7 months, I think.
Just doing a quick switch. Keep
talking.
Okay. We're good.
It's okay. But yeah, approximately 7 months, I think. And
Okay.
then like 9 months total in Europe.
Okay. And so for me, as a Spanish speaker,
Right.
when I did take French, it was definitely a lot easier than if I didn't have Spanish, right? So how was your experience with Spanish?
A lot easier than learning Chinese,
of
that's
course,
for sure.
right? Yeah.
Because the thing with Spanish, as you mentioned, it's very similar to French, and especially in terms of vocabulary. So the number of times that I just guessed the Spanish words just by using some like tricks and like
Of
how
course.
I think it would sound like in Spanish based on the French word.
I would write my answers in Spanish if I didn't know the answers to the French.
Right.
I just
that's
kind of write them,
clever.
and they're just like, it's
Kinda
spelled wrong.
It's
You spelled it wrong, but it's kind of correct. And I'm
I
like,
see.
did I pass? And they're like, yeah. So
Right.
very cool.
So yeah, definitely a lot easier, but both are super interesting, and it was a very similar way of learning in the sense that it was like 3 hours in the morning,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
being surrounded by the language every day.
Okay.
Yeah, so a
Beautiful.
great experience as well.
I think, so for you, like you're coming here for 6 months,
Yeah.
and then your Mandarin is, what would you say your Mandarin level is? Like intermediate? I mean, it's hard. It's so hard to learn.
Yeah, well,
it took me so long. Yeah.
If you want to use a scale in a sense, like we have
Yeah,
6
let's
books
just say out of, okay.
at school, and I'm at the beginning of book 3. It's like
Okay,
middle.
so like right in the middle.
Yeah,
Okay.
like for
okay.
example, in my daily life, I can, with sometimes some body language, I can pretty much do anything,
Okay.
but I cannot have like very profound conversations,
Okay,
and even
okay.
sometimes if it's just daily stuff, but I'm not necessarily used to using this vocabulary,
Yep.
then body language Google Translate.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's good because you actually, when you go somewhere, if you learn the language, you get to learn a lot more.
Yes.
Last week's guest, Tony Capat, she was telling me that, yeah, like same experience for him. As soon as he was learning the language, it opens so many more doors,
Yeah.
and people feel more like almost like honored. Like they're like, hey, you're learning my language. It's great. Because like for example, in Canada,
Yeah.
one of the main reasons when I decided I wanted to stay here, for me learning the language was because in Canada, of course, lots of my parents are immigrants. There's lots of immigrants. I have like my parents speak English,
Right.
but I have like aunts and uncles and people that have been in Canada for like 30 years that don't speak any English. Like they speak enough to get like work done,
Right,
but
right.
not like the same. Like I think my Chinese is better than their English.
Okay,
and
I
it's
see.
like it was weird. And at that time, my Chinese was like 0. So I thought if I want to stay here, I really want to make sure that I can speak Chinese.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, reading and writing, it's definitely on my list, but I have so many things on that list. It's just it keeps getting demoted. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Totally. And to be
Beautiful.
honest, like it does feel really nice when people speak your language, and I think that's something that I've been realizing here. So many Taiwanese people have some basics in French. I
That's
am
surprising.
so
Tell me about that,
surprised.
because that's surprising. Yeah.
For example, at the airport,
Uh-huh.
as soon as I got off, I was like at customs or something like that. And there was a girl, she was like, "Oh, tu parles français, you speak French."
Yeah.
Like, I learned French a little bit when I was at university, etc. And she started speaking French to me. I was like, what a nice way to just arrive, and already there's someone who speaks French. Like, of course, I was not expecting it because I'm in this Chinese-speaking environment. But it just feels so nice to know that some people take interest in your language. So
I think it's really cool. I think it's kind of like an honor if somebody's like, hey, you know, like sometimes people will come here and they're like, oh, I went to Mexico or I went to Spain, and they'll speak a little bit of Spanish. It's like, hey, this is really cool, you know?
Exactly,
It's kind of a
exactly.
nice thing, you know?
Exactly.
And for me, I've been here for so long that my Spanish is like deteriorating. It's getting bad.
Yeah.
But like I was fluent. Like I am still fluent, but sometimes when I'm speaking, it's like there's like little blanks.
Oh yeah, I totally
You
feel
know,
the same way with
so
Spanish,
that-
and my level is clearly like.
It's
lower
crazy.
than
So like
yours.
I'm speaking, and then there's like a blank,
Do you mix languages
and then
sometimes?
my brain will automatically fill the Spanish blank in with Chinese, but I'm speaking Chinese with a Spanish accent. It's so ridiculous. I'm just like, oh my God. And people, and then when I have the Latino and the Mexican customers that speak it all day, every day,
Yeah.
and I speak like this Chinese with like a Spanish accent, they're looking at me like,
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Yeah,
You know,
I
I'm
was
like,
literally
I'm sorry.
sending like a text message to my friends like right before coming here, and it's funny because like we're Canadian, Korean, and Japanese, but the only languages that unites us is Spanish, pretty much.
Wow.
So we were like texting it, and I was confusing like these
So-
two
so hard,
languages.
right?
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my jeez, I'm forgetting them both now.
That's so funny, man. I just it's crazy because speaking English and Spanish, when I came here, everybody said, "Oh, you speak two, so you know you're going to learn Chinese quick." It didn't help. It didn't help at all. The English and the Spanish
It's so
didn't
different.
translate very well into
Yeah.
Chinese. The grammar, of course, reading and writing is another thing, but
Yeah.
crazy. Very cool. Very cool. You want to try the next one?
Yes,
How was the
let's go.
Chipotle?
It was fun.
Not
I
too
do
spicy?
feel this
a little bit?
spicy
Okay.
a little
So we're kind of ramping up slowly
Oh,
here.
okay.
All right.
Interesting.
So the next one is Korean. That's kind of like the halfway point.
Oh, cool.
That's kind of like a homemade sauce. It's like our own kind of fusion-y sauce.
Okay.
But one of our more popular ones, yeah. So
Okay,
jump in
interesting.
on that action
Thank
for sure.
you.
Thank you. Very cool. I should actually cut this so I don't look like a barbarian here.
It's
All right. It's crazy. It's crazy. The worst is when you have a guest and we do it live, right?
Right.
But they have like sauce all over their face. I'm kind of like,
right. If I do, like, you can tell
I'll definitely
me
let you know. Yeah. But you're eating very, very, very good. So it's all good. All good. Very cool. Very cool. How is the audio sounding, guys? Let us know. We're just testing out some different kind of mics here, courtesy of Lucas in Taiwan. I was looking at these pod mics and we wanted to check them out. So let us know how the audio sounds. Boom.
That's good.
Yes. How is it, spice-wise? It's more spicy?
It is spicy.
It's getting there, right?
It is
so
spicy.
the thing about the cauliflower is it's like a bread, right?
It helps a little bit.
It helps a little bit, but it also absorbs more, seems to absorb more spice.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess, right? Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm very afraid of
Those,
like, these two, but
they
we'll
really
see.
sauce those up. So we'll see how those ones go.
Oh my
Yeah.
okay. We'll see.
It's so funny. So in your story, we're in Spain, right? That's where we are. We'll pick it up from there. You're in Spain. You're there with your guitar. You're traveling.
Yes.
Camino. I got a second picture here, right?
Yes,
I believe
this is
that's
my
hiking in
favorite
Spain.
picture.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so this is Yannick. He's one of my closest friends. I learned a lot from him. So this specific place is at the very end of El Camino. So this is why like you have the 00 written, because as you walk, you see the kilometers like go down and down and down and down.
Really? Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So
And how long is it?
I think they start the countdown around, was it 100 or like 500 kilometers, something like that. So you have the option, like from Santiago, to continue up all the way to Finisterre or Murcia. So these are the two
I've never been to Spain, so don't
It's
worry.
okay,
I have
it's
no
okay.
idea.
It's western Spain, basically.
Okay.
At the north. And you can go there, and basically, when you get to that point, you really crossed the country by foot. If you stop to Santiago, you have this little tiny bit missing of like 100K, so we're like, let's do it.
Okay, yeah, for sure, of course.
So we were super excited that day. To be honest, like this photo is a bit strict in a sense that, so you have to pack to like hike with everything on you every single day.
Of course, yeah,
so
it's like
clothes, or
backpacker
your
life type
food.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But for that specific picture, like we went to the hostel before, we dropped all our stuff. So we still had our backpacks, but they're empty.
Okay, that's cool.
Because we were like, this is just like,
That's got to be tough to carry I know that backpacker life's got to be tough to carry all your stuff in one bag.
You learn.
But it's kind of like minimalism, right? Which is kind of good, right?
It forces you to really be aware of everything that you put in there. So it's
Do I need 2 shirts today? Not really.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to.
You can get a little bit metaphorical with it in the sense that you decide of the weight that you're going to carry, and you can decide to like add stuff, like drop stuff.
Okay.
So it was a challenge.
Okay.
But it was a very good learning.
That's very cool.
opportunity.
Very cool. I love it. So from Spain, you went, and then you went back to Quebec, right?
Yeah.
And you finished you had finished the masters or not yet?
Oh no, this was
just before the master. Oh.
Pretty much. It was an exchange that I did during my second year of university.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then got back to Quebec, and during my last year of university, that's when COVID hit. So basically, COVID hit in March, and my graduation was supposed to be in April, and then I started my master's like the month of September after that. So I was super lucky actually, because these pictures are all taken the summer right before COVID. Okay. So I lived all these experiences the year before COVID happened.
Okay. So did you get to have like the graduation and all that stuff, or did COVID cancel all of it?
Well,
because there's a few years of students where COVID just killed, like the prom and the graduation ceremony. So were you one of the ones where COVID? Oh, it's sad. Oh,
everything
man.
to be fair, our university, I was at Bishop's University, which is an Anglophone university in Quebec, and we're a very small university.
Okay.
And they actually did our graduation 2 years later. So it was in February this year.
Okay.
So I missed it because I was here. And it's a little bit like funny because I missed, it was in June, sorry. So I had my graduation for my bachelor's degree, let's say on June 6th. And then on June 9th was supposed to be like my graduation from University of Ottawa. Okay. So like I never graduated in the sense like I never attended neither like my university graduation. So I was like, maybe I'll just do another degree just so I can have a graduation.
Just so you can have the grad party, like right? No, take one course and be like, But after your Chinese thing, you get some kind of certificate graduation party, maybe, right? Maybe. So you said you're halfway through. So 6 books, is that 1 year of intense, or I have no idea. I stopped after the first half.
I think it would be hopeful to do 6 books, because right now we're doing maybe like from a half to like 3/4 of a book.
Okay.
Well, it depends. If you take intensive courses, then you do 1 book every semester. So 1 year, you'd be approximately halfway there.
Okay. That
if
makes
you start
sense.
from scratch.
Okay. So your ideal situation is 1 year, or do you think you want to do the 2 with the 6? Like, in a perfect... I guess after 1 year, you'll decide.
Yeah. The thing is...
But if you get that job, you're gone. You get that government sort of thing.
Yeah.
Taiwan's a weird place because I planned on coming for 1 year.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yes. So that's why when people ask me like, oh, how much
so
time are you
hard.
going to be in Taiwan?
Yeah.
I'm like, well... When I left, I was like, at least 6 months, because that was the length of my scholarship.
Yeah.
And then I was like, after that, I don't even want to take a guess, because there are so many people who just get here and then they establish themselves here. Because to be honest, life is great in Taiwan.
Yeah.
If it was not for the heat of summer, though, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So yeah, the ideal scenario would be to like get a job for September or something like that. But I'm definitely open to staying longer, or to go back depending on the opportunities that rise up, to be honest. So it really is going to depend on which doors are open.
I would actually love to go check out Quebec sometime. It's just, when I grew, like I said, I haven't been living there for 20 years, but when I grew up, the domestic flights were so expensive. I don't know if they're still expensive.
They still are.
They still?
Sometimes
so for us, Vancouver to Ontario or Vancouver, Quebec is more expensive than Vancouver, Mexico.
Right.
So we would go back to see our family all the time.
Right.
But people are like, how come you've never been to Ontario or Quebec? I'm like, because it's twice as expensive than going to Mexico. Right. It's crazy, right?
I feel the same with Vancouver. Oh, no. I feel the same with Vancouver. Sometimes it's less expensive to go to Paris than to go to Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, let me think. Paris, Vancouver.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I'm going to Paris, right? Yeah. So that's exactly what happened to us. It's crazy. We actually have a question here. How would you say traveling in Europe and Canada compares from traveling in Asia?
Oh, that's such a good question. I've only been to Taiwan, though, so maybe I'm less, how can I say, rooted in terms of traveling to Asia than other travelers.
Sure.
How would it compare? The similarities would definitely be access, in the sense that traveling from one place to the other is very easy in a sense, because everything is really well connected in general. Of course, like in Europe, everything is connected by land, so it makes it
which is kind of
easier.
You can take a train to like all the countries, right?
Exactly. Whereas like Asia has a lot of like smaller islands, so but still, like you usually have a way to get there.
Sure.
But geez, that's such a good question. I think the culture shock is greater in Asia as a like, Quebecer.
Okay. Tell me about culture shock.
To be honest,
I love it.
I didn't have that big of a culture shock that I expected.
Tell me about it. Okay.
But I did.
While I eat.
I did have more questions to be answered beforehand. So I think that's what saved me a little bit from the culture shock, is that I did so much research on Taiwan.
What do you think was the biggest sort of culture shock thing, or the most shocking thing for you coming here? Like, you did all your research, so you knew a good portion of Taiwan. But was there something that was like, oh my gosh, this is, wow.
You know how we talk about how in Asia, in Asian societies, the way that we, at least the way that we see them, is that they are more collective.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And feeling it when I arrived here. Okay. I think that's what surprised me the most, in a sense. Again, like, we hear it all the time, so we kind of expect it. But then just something as little as people being so aware of their surroundings, like letting you pass, making sure you're okay, or just like my friends who are like from Taiwan, like they check on me a lot. It's like, are you okay? When I had like COVID, I had like 2-3 friends like texting me almost every day, like, do you need food? Are you okay? Like, do you need some help? Are your roommates fine? So you really, not that Canadian friends won't do that, but it's just like
it's definitely different for sure.
It's different. Like here, like you can have this connection with friends in Canada, but here it's just that that's this very close connection and feeling of care. I feel like as a foreigner who comes from Canada, it feels like it is expanded to just society as a general.
Okay.
So they will care a lot about like yes, the people like surrounding them, the impact of their actions on society. Whereas in Canada, I think we still do to an extent, but we value a lot more like doing your own thing.
I think like a privacy is valued a lot more back home. Like I was chatting with everybody's favorite YouTuber, Lucas, of course, sitting over there.
Yes.
And we were chatting when he was here, and we were talking about, would you be able to be the full-time YouTuber in Sweden? And he was saying that, no, probably not. No, because I think, of course, Canada has obviously full-time YouTubers, but I think people, they value more, I think, the more privacy. And in Taiwan, I think people are more curious. And they're like, hey, what do like, if you go to Costco and you got your buggy full of food, people are like, oh, what are these guys eating? You know? So I always think that it seems to be more, the people are more curious here.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. One of the reasons why I have this podcast is because, sharing some cool stories and some cool people. Yeah.
And to be fair, for example, in Canada, we're already so used to having that much diversity.
Sure, yeah,
because
it's nothing new, right?
Exactly, we have so much like immigration or just people coming from all over the world since like...
my parents are immigrants, right?
Yeah,
my parents are immigrants. I'm actually first generation Canadian, right? So it's weird because, in Mexico they're like, well, you're Canadian, you're not really Mexican. And then you go to like Canada, they're like, yeah, you're Canadian. You're like Canada, you're a Mexican Canadian. Yeah. But I don't look, I don't know, I look kind of whitish, right? So I think it's a weird feeling. It's kind of a weird feeling.
How does that feeling compares to being seen as a foreigner here in Taiwan?
In Taiwan here, it's like you're just white. Oh. And it's just like you kind of like, everybody's lumped into, obviously if you're, let's say, you're African American or something, you're not lumped into that. You're lumped into kind of the foreigner thing. But usually it's like, okay, this guy, he's white, speaks English, whatever, which is great. I mean, I've got a lot of teaching jobs because of that. So, I mean, to be honest, it's one of the first times where I'm able to use that. I'm like, okay. I remember applying for a job way back in the day. And I moved to a new area. I was coaching soccer there. And, I was on the MRT and I looked out the window and I was like, I should probably find some part-time teaching. This was a long time ago. And I saw this school and on the MRT, I took a picture of the phone, or I wrote the phone number down or something. And I called them and I'm like, hey, how you doing? My name is Ed. I'm from Canada. I just moved to the area. I was wondering if you guys need an English teacher. And they're like, well, we do, but you're going to have to come in and we'll talk to you in person. So I said, okay, cool. And, I went in and I had like my resume and my little polo shirt and stuff on. I went in there and they're just kind of like, they look at you, you're like, okay. And I'm like, so do you want to look at my resume? Right. And they're like, no. And I'm like, what? Really? Okay, that was easy. Cool. Right. Yeah. It was. I don't know if it's still like that, but this was, again, 15 years ago or 14 years ago.
It's not the first time that I hear this kind of story. And to be honest, it feels sometimes like...
It's weird, but I took advantage of it because I had to.
Well, and that's the thing. I feel like in Taiwan, foreigners are extremely privileged. Whereas sometimes in other countries, when we talk about immigration, it's like... It's more like how difficult of an experience it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like here as foreigners, it's like the opposite in the sense that we need to be careful to not feel too special in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The longer you stay, you can feel different things.
Right.
But mostly it's good. Mostly it's good. Yeah. I love it.
Because I feel like it can boost your ego in a sense. Gosh. Because people are just so curious about you. People are so interested in you. So like, I'm such an interesting person.
I'm so interesting.
I mean, you're still just your good old self in a sense. You just happen to speak a different language and be in a certain color.
It's a great place. People are nice. I don't know. I love it here.
They really are. So like, I think we as foreigners have this responsibility of just staying very self-aware of this situation in a sense, and not like take advantage. Such of an advantage of that.
I also think that it's kind of like I don't know, like our duty a little bit to share Taiwan a little bit with the world because one of the coolest things about me starting this podcast was I got to meet some awesome YouTubers like Yuan and Lucas in Taiwan. And these guys are doing a great job
Oh,
of
yeah.
making the videos,
Yeah.
going around and doing fantastic things. And that's awesome because it's a great place. And it seems to be like a hidden gem almost because people think, oh, Hong Kong or Tokyo or maybe Shanghai or Singapore. They never think Taiwan, Taipei.
Yeah.
But I think that we do things like this. I think it's good for everyone.
Yeah, hopefully.
I hope
so
if
too.
you guys if you like it, let me know. Yeah. Appreciate that. Scott Freeberger says, keep singing. Appreciate it.
Oh,
thank you guys.
great.
Thank you guys for letting me know about the audio quality. Yeah, I took a picture of her face. Yeah. I screenshot a picture of you talking to Zeta Jang, and she had, oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Yes, so good, so good. Zeta Jang is awesome. I love her. One of my favorites. So let's get the next one. So this one is a little bit spicy. Are you good? This one's not too bad. So this one is a special shout out to Empress Hot Sauces. This is their, man, they gave us massive ones today. Gee. This one is made with ghost pepper.
Oh, jeez.
So it's definitely spicier than the other one.
Is it?
But the last one is just crazy. So just take a little bite.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate
what,
it.
it's going to be very slow.
Yeah, that's okay. No problem. No problem. I also have a lot of food questions for you as well.
Oh, do you?
Because people always ask me, what's Canadian food?
Yeah.
And for me, I actually, like, obviously my parents are Mexican, so we eat Mexican food, like at home every day, right? Not every day. I mean, we'd go out, for burgers or whatever.
Right.
But like, yeah, people ask me, and I'm like, the famous default is always poutine, right?
It is,
But
it
that's
is.
from you guys, right?
It
That's
is.
kind of your
It is.
contribution. So tell me when somebody says, what's Canadian food
Yeah.
to you?
I realized recently that, at least for me personally, it's really much about desserts in general.
Okay.
For example, we have like sucre à la crème, which is, how would we translate that? Sugar, cream sugar? It's like
Okay.
these little squares, and it's
Okay.
basically just a bunch of sugar
That's awesome.
with some cream.
Okay.
And it's a very traditional dessert that when I
Okay.
was in high school, we would receive some every year.
Really?
And
that's cool.
so we have that. We have some.
I have this just in case it's a little spicy. I forgot to
Oh,
tell you that
thank
we have
you.
horchata.
Yeah, we'll
Sorry.
definitely have some of that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you.
It's
yeah.
okay. So what is it?
It's called horchata.
Okay.
It's like a rice, water, milk, vanilla, sugar, cinnamon Mexican drink.
Oh,
Yeah.
that smells good.
So give it a stir. Yeah.
Oh, that's really. It does help.
Yeah, it does help
Oh,
because it's got a
wow.
yeah. Sorry, I forgot to tell you, man.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
nice podcast.
But yeah, just like dessert in general, like very sugary dessert. I think is what we do best.
Okay, well, that's one of the things I miss from Canada, the nice desserts. Yeah.
Interesting.
Hold on, we got one. This is these podcasts are the best. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Nice podcast so far. Tuned in before the mic switch. Want to say hi from another Canadian.
Hey,
That's
hi.
actually Taiwan food addict who I've had on the show. He's a great guy. Got to do it again soon.
That's so cool.
One more food. What do you miss?
Yes.
What food do you miss?
Oh.
You go back home,
Yes.
Vancouver to Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
You're landing. Mom's like, Camille, what do you want to eat?
Okay.
What's the first thing you're eating?
If I hadn't had my can of maple syrup with me here, I would have
Okay.
said maple syrup.
Okay,
But I do
okay.
have a can with me.
So you
I'm
have it
not
with
gonna
you?
say- I do.
It's like in it's like in your belt buckle.
Oh,
You
every day.
Melt. Okay.
Every day.
Beautiful. I love it too. Yeah.
Other than that,
Well, it's a hot one.
this is not much Canadian, but like peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Natural peanut butter. to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay. Nice
For
peanut
like
butter.
my breakfast, I have peanut butter like every single breakfast of my life.
Really?
And like peanut butter, like natural one, is just like more difficult to find.
It's
here.
good. It's actually I
But
like
it's
that.
good.
Yeah, it's very
really good. Like
yeah.
Taiwan produces a lot of
Okay.
of peanuts, but
Okay.
doesn't make necessarily that much like peanut butter with it. The one that it does does taste amazing. Great. It's just it tastes amazing. It's just a little bit more difficult to find, I would say.
It's weird because they will like it's the other side of the world, right? So they do different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like for example, as a Mexican, avocados we make guacamole, right?
Yes.
But when I came here, they make like a milkshake, like milk,
Right.
avocado,
Yeah.
and sugar.
Right.
And the first time I had it, I was like, "Wow!" But now I don't mind it. Like I'm fine with everything. As long as it tastes good, I'm good.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I think Yeah, peanut is. I don't think there's that many. I mean, gombao jiding, stuff like that. I think peanut stuff like that's good.
It's often used like a condiment.
Yeah, exactly, like a guabao or something.
Yeah, or
they
when
put
you
in
have
peanut.
like douhua, and then they're gonna sprinkle
exactly.
some in.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. And so that's it for when you go back to Canada. Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't like other stuff or just like
no, that's cool. Yeah.
I would say it's more about ingredients, especially because I cook a lot.
Sure.
So I think it's more about ingredients that I would put in my.
So let's flip the question. What about Taiwan? Favorite food in Taiwan?
I would say I like stinky tofu, to be honest.
You like stinky tofu?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I was surprised too, and I was happy about it.
Okay. Wow. Stinky tofu lover. Okay.
Yeah, I love douhua as
well.
Douhua's
good. I like
love
douhua.
It.
Yeah.
Oh, the fruits also.
Fruits are amazing here.
They are. Like before coming here, I didn't like papaya that much.
Okay.
Same thing for like other more like tropical fruits.
Yeah.
And now I eat them like every single day. To be honest.
Yeah. I think here you can eat so many different fruits and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Favorite fruit? What's your favorite? Like boom, I'm getting
here
that.
papaya.
Papaya. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Wow.
木瓜.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Let's get a couple more pictures in there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Bam.
Oh.
That's you playing some kind of, is that ukulele or guitar?
We call it a guitarlele.
Guitarlele. Okay,
yeah,
that's a
because
new
it
one.
has 6 strings, like a guitar.
A 6-string, a regular ukulele doesn't.
It has 4 strings.
Oh, see.
Yeah, so like the
I'm
way
learning.
that you do the chords is different,
Okay.
pretty much, and it sounds a lot. The pitch is much higher.
Okay.
This is a guitarele because it has 6 strings like a normal one, but it's much smaller. That's why a lot of people
Is that
think
like
it's
a
ukulele.
Quebec thing or is that like a world thing? I have no idea.
I don't think it's a Quebec thing
Okay.
because this is like a
Maybe you guys
Yamaha,
can
so I
answer.
think that they are like
Very
you
cool.
can find them like.
I didn't even know that was a
many
thing. That's
places.
really cool.
Yeah, I learned about it like right before coming because I didn't want to bring like my big guitar with me.
Yeah, of course.
And I
it's
didn't want to
massive, yeah.
have to like ship because when I was in Spain, I bought a guitar and then I second hand, and then I shipped it back to
broke.
Canada.
Oh, really? It didn't break.
It did, but
Just
I
have to restring or
easy
something.
repair, easy repair. So I was like,
cool.
oh, I don't want to do this again here. So I was like, let's buy this little thing right here, this little friend.
We've got another quick question there. Do Taiwanese avocados and peanuts taste different from your country? Avocados, definitely. They're a different sort of a breed of avocado.
Peanuts,
What
I
about-
don't think so, to be honest. Yeah, because
So
I
we
had
can
like
make good peanut butter here, yeah?
we could. Oh, we
Okay.
could, and they do. They already do.
do, yeah?
It's just
Okay.
like that. It's less maybe.
Less
it's
popular.
less, less popular. Less
yeah.
easy to find.
Very cool.
And then-
Avocados are like the ones grown in like California, New Zealand, Mexico are kind of like
The shape
they're
is
Haas.
so
It's a
different.
Haas avocado, so it's like a smaller, a little bit creamier, a little bit rougher outside,
Right.
and the ones here are really big and a little bit.
So the
a little bit
variety
different.
is completely
Yeah,
different.
I think
would
it's a
guess.
different breed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Very cool. I love both. I love both. And we could just I was raised on avocados, so it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out for that last picture.
Yes.
It
Let's get
was
that.
with Sue
boom.
Photography, and he
Okay.
like contacted me actually not long after I did like a video with Lucas for the first time.
Okay.
And he was like, "Hey, would you like to just come and take pictures and like be creative for an afternoon?" I was like, "Yeah, of course."
Oh yeah.
So we did that shoot, and it was a really nice time, to be honest, because he
Beautiful.
was just like, "Just play, and I'm gonna take pictures." And I would just want you to really get
Kind of like in your
into-
world, yeah?
Exactly, that's exactly what
Beautiful.
he wanted. And then I
a great
made a
picture.
really great friend out of it. So this is a
So cool.
nice picture, but it's also like one of the first experiences that I had being creative with someone else in Taiwan.
Fantastic.
And it was a really good one.
I
was
love it.
really
Yeah.
fun.
It's nice to I've actually made a lot of really, really great lifelong friends here, and it's tough because sometimes they leave,
Exactly.
and you're like, no,
Yeah.
I'll go visit you, and it's like they
Yeah.
live different countries all over the
Totally,
world.
that's a big
it's
challenge
almost,
as
it's
an
almost
expat.
don't want to say impossible, but it's pretty not likely that I'm going to go to Norway or something.
Yeah.
You know,
You
I
need
would
to
love
get
to,
used to like this
but it's
feeling
like,
of separation.
Yeah,
when you-
like one of my
totally.
good friends is Hungarian, and he moved back to Hungary with his family, and he's like, yeah, come to Budapest, and I'm like, I would love to.
Yeah.
But it's not likely, right? Like, because I want to see my mom.
Right.
It's tough. It's
Right,
tough.
right.
Yeah,
Making
yeah.
choices.
Yeah.
Totally.
One more
I feel that.
picture here, real quick.
Yes.
Special shout out to the man who brought the pod mics in here today.
Yes. Okay, so this is
Everybody's favorite YouTuber in Taiwan,
yes.
right?
That is a very funny story, to be honest. So
Yeah.
this was a
Tell me about it.
third video that we did together,
Yeah. Okay.
and well, actually, this is the second that we filmed. The third that came out.
Okay.
And so when I was in Quebec, I wanted to learn more about Taiwan because I already knew that I was coming, following like the scholarship.
So who came up when you Googled Taiwan?
I think it
Lucas?
was Wes, to be
Was
honest.
Wes?
I think it was
Okay.
Wes Davies.
Okay.
And then I met I met. I saw Lucas' videos like not long after, because when you start to watch one person, then everybody like just
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that's sorry, go ahead.
It's crazy. No, because recently as well with Lucas, my Facebook page is just all like the Facebook watch is all full of Lucas and like Amy and like Wes. It's crazy.
Exactly.
It's really cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I was just watching like a bunch of videos from foreigners that were already in Taiwan, because I wanted to learn more about what it's like when you get here. And then after maybe like during the first month that I was here, I went to a restaurant with a friend, and Lucas came into the restaurant and sat like at the table like right next to us.
And he's a giant, right? So
so like very easy to recognize.
Okay.
So I told my friend, I was like, hey, like this is actually a YouTuber that I watched when I was in Canada. So when the restaurant closed and everyone was just like going outside, I was like, well, I have to go and say hi and just thank you. So that was my plan, like say hi, say thank you, leave. But then we just started talking, and then he was like, oh, you're actually the first student who came to me telling me that they watched my videos before coming to Taiwan.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, so he was like, would you like to come for like an interview on my channel? And I was like, of course.
Oh, it's so cool.
So that's when it all started. And then he took
that.
me on this ride to be able to discover more of Taiwan's beauty and landscapes. And it's just a great friendship. And Lucas reminds me a bit of my brothers.
Oh, really?
Too. So
Okay.
So it's nice to have this little like circle of friends and to be around.
I think a lot of the foreign YouTubers here, it's when you start something, you're kind of like, oh, you see all these guys with like these big channels, but when you actually meet them, everybody's so nice. It's cool.
Exactly.
It's very cool.
Totally.
Very cool. Awesome. Very cool. So I want to pull up one more here, and you can tell me about this.
Yes.
Is this the one? Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So this was some kind of connection, right? So go for it. You tell it.
Connection. Do you want
like
me to speak
Quebec,
a specific?
I mean, whatever. No, keep going. Just go.
Okay, so this was also before coming to Taiwan. I was learning Mandarin. I wanted to learn through music, because I feel like it's just a good way to have the language in your mind and still enjoying yourself. So I had heard about the GMAs, the Golden Melody Awards. It's a little bit like the equivalent of the Grammys in Taiwan.
Okay.
So
I actually didn't even know that. Okay.
A lot of people don't know about it. I'm so surprised, because it's such a great event.
Because the old guys like me, we still listen to like the same 80s music that we listened to when we were there. Yeah.
That might be part of the reason.
That's sorry, everybody.
No
I still listen to the
worries.
same music that I listened to growing up. Yeah.
So in 2020, because of COVID, the GMAs were broadcasted on YouTube. So I was in my room at like 6:30 a.m. and I just plugged my computer in the big TV and I watched the event when I was in my room, and I was taking notes on like all the artists that I liked. And because I was just already so interested in Taiwanese music, and it was just so nice to see them like on my TV.
So cool.
And then discover so many other artists.
So cool.
So then when I came here, I was like, wow, the GMAs are happening every year. So I decided to just go to Kaohsiung, because this year they were in Kaohsiung. And I went to the red carpet, and then it was such my lucky day. It was very a lucky day for me, because I went to the red carpet and I was like, then I'm gonna just go back to my hotel, because I don't have a ticket or anything. But there was this one lady, and she was like, oh, like we have like free tickets. And I was like, is this a scam?
Oh yeah, of course.
Or is
I
this
know
for
the
real?
feeling. Like, what's going on? Because you just came to Taiwan, and you're like, wait a minute, what?
So she was just over there like handing tickets, and I was like, well, I'm testing my luck, because even if it's a scam, I want to just I'm going for it.
Yeah, that's good.
And then it ended up not being a scam, and I was able to go in and actually see the event, the performances, the artists, and I was freaking out.
It must have been very surreal to be like, last year I'm watching it on my sort of like laptop plugged into my TV.
Yes.
Now I'm here live.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I felt like I had like I felt accomplished in a sense, or just not accomplished, but because I'm not responsible for it. But I just felt so satisfied.
Amazing.
With it, it was almost like a dream come true in a sense, because you just see it, you don't think necessarily it's gonna happen, and then you get there, you get lucky, and
so cool.
You end up being able to see like white and yellow live.
Awesome. Before we get that last one, I want to pull up the last picture here because I know there's a story.
Oh, yes.
I know there's a story we need to share.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. So we just talked about the GMAs, right?
Yes.
So the guy on the picture here is Lei Qing. And
Okay.
he was nominated 2 years, this year, I think, for New Artist of the Year. And
Very cool.
he's one of my favorite artists that I started to listen to when I was in Canada. I really like the way that he does music, in general, the sound of it. So when I came to Taiwan, I went to one of his small concerts
Okay.
that was
Very
happening
cool.
in a small like coffee/bar.
Okay.
And after the concert, you could go like buy his album, talk a little bit with him. So I get there and he hears my name and he's like, "Oh, tu parles français? Like you speak French?" And I'm
Okay.
like, "Wait, you speak French?"
Speaks French. Wow.
So he actually speaks French. So we just started like talking. We chatted for a bit, and then I do music a little bit too. I write a few songs like here and there.
Fantastic.
So I told him, I was like, well, if you would like to do some kind of collaboration, writing a bilingual song or something like that, because that was a dream of mine. Because
Sure.
there's a similar sound between music from Quebec and music from Taiwan. To be honest,
That's so interesting.
there is
Okay.
some kind of, in French we say like mélancolie. It's like
Okay.
melancholy. Is that?
Oh,
is
melancholy.
That?
Okay,
Thank
melancholy.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Your pronunciation.
No,
of that
it's okay.
word.
No,
I
I'm
struggle
just like
with
when
the
I hear French,
pronunciation
I
of this
kind of
one.
like I have like my English and my Spanish ears on, and
Right.
I'm like let me try to break it down.
So there's a similar sound. So I was daydreaming when I was in Canada of, how would it be to meet someone from Taiwan and do a bilingual song in French and Mandarin,
man.
just to show that it's possible to make connections between like these two places that just seem so different from each other when you look at first glance.
So cool.
So we talked about it a little bit, and it was like, yeah, super nice about it. Like, send me your stuff. We'll see if we can make something work. And we actually met for the first time last week.
Whoa, okay.
Again, well, not for the first time, but I mean, first time to actually just see if something could come out of it.
That was one of the big things of the last 2 weeks you're talking
It
about.
was one of the biggest things, to be honest, because we have a very similar way to see music, or like the purpose of music, to once again like this idea of building connections, like making people happy through music. And we're lucky also because our voices seem to fit well together.
Oh wow, okay.
So we actually we're in the process of writing.
You guys
a
are
song.
making something?
We're making something.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Let me know. I would love to share it. I mean, that's
hopefully
fantastic.
something is actually gonna like come out in a sense. But to be honest, like even just the process of it is so fulfilling. Because like as sometimes someone who like writes music or just sings in general, you're so used to your own sound, your own voice, your own lyrics.
Of course.
So to get the feedback from someone else, it was a very good experience, and also just to be in this zone of creativeness and thinking and what story do we want to tell. And once again, artistic connections. I think it's one of the big themes of me being in Taiwan here, building these type of connections.
So, if that song blows up and you become like a Taiwanese pop star, are you going to stay or are you going to leave everybody hanging?
To be determined.
All right. Cool. Awesome. I wanted to, So what do you think? You want to give the last one a try?
Oh, geez. With this next to me,
you can do it? All right, okay.
But it's going to be a very small bite.
That's totally fine. Lucas will help you eat the rest.
Of course.
No problem.
Okay.
So let's
go for it.
Go first, grab what you want to do.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Wow, they gave us massive ones today. My gosh.
There's so much sauce on it.
Yeah, this I won't tell you what this sauce is made of. You probably know, but it's all good. Yeah, so take a little nibble of that, and then we'll probably wrap it up here. So the last question, where can people find you? Right, if they want to get in touch with you, right? Your Instagram is in the description below if people want to find you there, but where else can they find you?
To be honest, Instagram is probably the best way to find me so far. If anything, if I develop like anything else, I will announce it in some way on my Instagram.
Yep.
If people are interested, I could also like share maybe in the description or as a comment to this podcast playlists.
Okay.
Of like Quebec music from Quebec, music from
shoot.
here.
Send me
People
that.
are
Yeah,
like
that'd be cool.
a little bit curious to see.
Something where things are
I'm
good.
just gonna take a break.
Yeah, do it. Do your thing. Yeah, of course, sure.
But I think that could be something interesting.
Okay, I think that there are. I mean, I don't know. there's probably going to be very few connections from Taiwan to Quebec. So I think if you could bridge that, I think that would be fantastic
That
for
would
you
be my
and for
objective,
here.
to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. Yeah.
Oh,
Just
I
have a
feel
little
my
bit.
eyes
You can
like
feel it?
watery.
So just don't touch your eyes. That's all you got. That's all I
Yeah.
got to let you know. Yeah. Beautiful. So we'll definitely share that playlist. Alex is saying share the playlist. We would definitely will do that. Appreciate that, guys.
Perfect.
Yeah. So you made it all the way through.
Yes.
You're okay. Last one. You had a little nibble. We're good. Before we go, was there anything that we missed that you wanted to get out there?
Be curious.
Be curious. Okay.
Be curious. Listen to music from all over the world.
Okay.
Discover languages from all over the world.
Beautiful. Be curious. So, Camille, one more time, give me the last name.
Cournoyer. Camille Cournoyer.
I can't even try to say that.
It's all right.
I'm sorry. I'm going to butcher it, and it's going to be bad. But thank you for coming. I appreciate
Thanks
it so much.
for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. I haven't heard such a nice French Canadian accent in such a long time. It's really
it's
really
nice to
cool.
hear.
What do you guys
Thank
think about the
you.
French Canadian accent? It's fantastic. It's one of my favorites. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming. Thank Lucas for letting us test out these awesome pod mics. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys. Actually, one more thing. This Saturday, there's going to be a special Saturday edition of the live show. We're going to have Prozi, and we're going to have Life in Taiwan's Alan. So I will keep you guys more information. If you want to find Camille, description below. Hit her up. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.